What's going on, guys? How all you are doing? Welcome to the 5th tutorial on the tutorial series of making a control management system. Some people may call it a context management system, but it's the same thing. So here we are in the 5th one. If you haven't already watched the couple 4 tutorials on this series, please make sure to watch them before continuing in the series, because this really matters. You have to understand some basic things before getting up with the 5th one. So here on the 5th one, we're going to talk about how we can display our already saved categories in the database like we have done on the last one. Let me go into here. Make sure to check out the website apis.com, and we'll go to the category. In the last video tutorial on the 4th one, we have talked about the models and the migrations and how can allow you to create or add a category. So let's now try to test in category, and we push the other category, but we won't be able to see if that category has indeed been added to the database or there was an error or something. So we don't have like a successful or an error messages, and we will implement that using the sessions as well. In this particular video tutorial as well, we can check out the already registered categories on that. Therefore, we have to create a table that's fetch from the database the available categories on there. So we're gonna use the power of Bootstrap for styling this or for making that easier for us. If you can feel free to use any framework or CSS framework you like for designing your things, and for the professional side you will design this by yourself or making, if you really intended to make a big control management system. Anyway, let's jump into the category.blade.php, and on there you can see the form that we have done the last time. Let me just remove this button because I've just added this the last time for testing, so no need for it right now. Let me just comment this out, and as you can see, I have already added the div that's categories tables, and the class is table responsive, and this table responsive is a Bootstrap class, which makes our table looks really responsive. So let's create a table. So that also gonna has a class of a table, also a Bootstrap class. And Bootstrap is already being shipped with Laravel right out of the box, so you don't have really to do anything. Like, you don't want to include this, or you don't need to include it. It's already has been done for you. Table, now we need to add the table row for displaying things. A table row gonna have the first thing is an ID of this category. So the ID of the category gonna be something like table. So table H, I'm gonna add an ID. Okay, can't type, I don't know why. So the ID, of course, we're gonna add the category. This one is gonna be the name, and also the creator name. We're gonna give it a shortcut of an author. You can name it author anyway. And we need timestamps like updated ads and created ads, and this already has been done for us from Laravel itself. We have already talked about this in the last video tutorial. So we have created ads and updated ads. So for updating a category, we're going to cover in the next video tutorial Ajax calls and how you can use them alongside the pop-ups, a modal pop-up which allow you to remove or edit a category. And we're gonna use this a lot on posts and stuff, the other things you might need, admins, registrations, users, whatever. So it's going to be very helpful for us. Other button is going to have the edit and remove, as I've said. So I'm going to use an A for this job, and I believe I'm going to remove the href. And you're going to use a span. This span going to has a class of a btn dash a warning. This is for the edits. I'm gonna call it just edits. Oh, no. We don't really want to include the button in here. We're just gonna say this is gonna be an edit. So we're gonna call this edit, and another one is gonna call it remove. So this should be, we need for the table row, and the other table row we're gonna put our data in. So the data we're gonna have is our category data. So we're gonna put the category name, the author name of the category, the created ad, and the updated ad, and we need to get those from the database. So for that, we need a variable holds all our categories, so we can loop through all these categories in here. So therefore, Laravel give us an option to do or to pass in the data from the controller into the view. So therefore, we go into our index. As you can see, I've already done this. So there's a category order by, and we get all the categories that has been saved in on the database on our categories. We have used the model of use app category. Then we say the categories, then category. This order by function gonna order your categories depending on a factor. And this factor I'm using the created ads. You can use also the updated ad, but created ads is a bit more valuable than the created ad, than the updated ads on this particular case. And we have the descending order. Then we use this gets method to return of the array of the categories available on our database. Then with the with method on the view, we are passing in the categories, the array of the categories into the view or into the HTML file itself in order to render it out. So we use this with, we put the key and the value pairs on there. So if you are intending to put a multiple like variables in here, you can use an associative array here, like you can say category here, and you put the anything like here a variable, and puts another comma, another variable, yada yada yada. But here we have only one category, so no need for using an array actually. As I've said, the categories, now we are passing in the category into our blade category.blade.php. Now let's go ahead and make sure that these categories are not empty, like this array has at least one category or more. So therefore, we're going to use an if statement, and Blade engine give us a really powerful thing rather than just using like PHP, like starting the PHP or opening the PHP and saying if yada yada yada, do this, do something. Blade, all it can do this for you with a really shortcut statement. You can use if, and this is gonna do the same as using the if and do the PHP tags. So it makes your life easier. That's why I told you about Blade template is gonna make your life way much more easier than you can think. So we use the if as you might use it as a normal if statement. So we use the count method or the count function since it's not a part of class. So the count function, and we're gonna use the categories. Since we have already passed the categories into our Blade, so they are available right now. Categories, and we say if this the count is greater than 0, then you can render this. Else, we're gonna display some message like there are no categories or the categories are empty. Please add a category first. Yada yada yada. You can do this. Let me check out. I have added this. Let me add this before the table. So let me just paste. I don't have this. Okay. I'm gonna add this before the table. So if there would be no categories in our database, we won't render anything in here. Just a message telling the user that the categories, no categories are available for the moment. You need to add a category first. So for ending the if, there's no curly braces in here. So you have to type add and if. As simple as that. It's very easy, very simple, very straightforward. So let me just get rid of this spacing. Now, since we have checked, now we need a for loop. And also, Blade provides us with an easy or a shortcut rather than using the normal for or the for each from the PHP. You can do this by just add and say for or for each. We're gonna use for each for easier thing for this particular case. So we're gonna take categories, and we are looping as a category, and we want to get the index for the ID in here. As you can see, we want to display the index of this category, so therefore we can use the key value pair in this for each. If you didn't know about this, yeah, you will be able to use it. I'm gonna call this I, and you can use the equal sign and the left arrow to represent a value or a key value pairs. So here we are looping, and let me just end the for loop. So we tell it end for each, as simple as that. Then under here we're gonna put our data. So a table row, now the table details we're gonna put, and use the double curly braces as I've said in the last video, to like echo things like echo text, echo variables from the PHP into the HTML. Rather than using PHP echo, you can use this double curly braces and then close them. So like echoing, we're gonna use I variable +1 to get rid of the 0 index. So another table row. Now we need the, as we have specified in here, this is the category, so we need to put the category name as well. I'm going to use the double curly braces, then close them again, and I'm going to say category and name. Make sure to use the singular version, this category, not the categories, because it's an array of a category, or of categories actually. And another table details the author, so we're going to say category, and as well we're going to say the author. We have named this the author in our database, the column of an author. So as well we're going to get the created ads and the updated ad timestamps. So gonna be very simple as well, category and created ads. Now couple case or a capital case, I don't know, couple case, wow. Okay, updated ads. Okay, then we need the buttons that we have spoke about. So we need an edit button and a remove button that we're going to benefit from, or show you how to use the Ajax with Laravel in the next video. So sorry, I'm not going to use this. I'm going to just use the A button, get rid of the href and the span, add the span and the class of a button. So this class is a bootstrap class that gives you a really nice button. I'm gonna use the warning. So for editing, okay, I'm gonna put the name as edits. I'm gonna just copy paste this for easier integrations. Okay, I'm gonna make this remove. Okay, this is gonna be info or not info, danger, because we're gonna remove a category. And yeah, we're gonna talk about more deeply on how to use both of these and why they are very important to do them like this, or to put them like this specifically, and why we need them. So like we're looping and we're fetching everything. Now let's check out if everything is working fine. You can, it's not strictly, you don't have to use tables for rendering the data. You can use any style you want or any containers you want to put your data on, like on the dashboard. Now as you can see, we have our testing category that we have just added and the web development category. Now you can use the remove here and the edit, which we're going to explain in the next video tutorial. As you can see, the created ads and the updated ad timestamps also are available, and the author is the default author, Islam Pinus. Now if we try the category, so yeah, this is going to work fine with no issues. Hopefully, as you can see, it's going to reload and add the category, and as you can see, it's the first one. So since it's ordering by the created ads descending. So we have covered this, but we have an issue that we won't be able to know if this category has been added successfully. We are not getting no messages like a success message or an error message if an error has occurred in the backend, like in the server. So we won't be able to do that. There is a session variables. If you don't know a session is kind of when you open up a website on the server backend, you're going to create a session. It's always specifically for you. You can store your cookies. This is where you can store your cookies, and the session going to be destroyed after you close the website, like it has a timeout. So this is what I mean by a session. And also Laravel provides us with a default session, so it's create a session for you to protect you from like a couple of famous attacks like XCSS and stuff. We're gonna use them in the next video tutorial, explain them why you need to use them or how to bypass them for an Ajax call, better say. Okay, now we need to go ahead and create and do the include views include. And we need to create a new folder, or not a new folder, actually a new file, just a new file, and we're gonna call it messages. Oh, messages in here. Why in here? Okay. Messages.blade. Why the dot is not working? For some reason. Only. Okay, .blade.php. We're gonna open up this, and this where we are gonna use our messages system and the session, and also Laravel has a built-in variable called errors that display the errors has been occurred in the back end or in your server, so it can tell you if any error has been occurred or not. Therefore, we're gonna check if the errors. We're gonna also use the Blade template engine for checking that. I'm gonna check if the variable is called error, and I believe just now we're gonna use the count to count the errors. So there's an error, count errors, and they're greater than 0, so there's an error. I'm gonna end the if, and I'm gonna render out the errors in here. So we're gonna say a div class of alert danger, because an error, so it's danger. We're using again a bootstrap classes in here as well. We're going to get the errors, and we need to look through the errors in here. So I'm going to do for each errors as error, and I'm gonna say and for each assembles that. Let me just indent the code in here to make it looks a bit readable. And now we're gonna display our error. Now for looping, we can't just tell it like this because this is not array, this is a Laravel collection class. So to get the array, use the method called all to get all the arrays without filtering, like without ordering them or something. So this is how you could check this out by typing in Google Laravel collection, and you can see all the available methods in there. It's really nice, and it's gonna help you a lot organizing your data in the database, as well as like ordering them while rendering them to the users. Now we're gonna call the error this one, and obviously this is gonna be it. So now let's cover up the session, and the session we're gonna check if the session exists. So to use that, there is a helper method called session already available for us. So just session, and we're gonna call it session. Let's say the session errors we're gonna return are called error, and the success with a capital E and a capital S. So error, if session error, we're gonna end if here, and so we're gonna use it like this. I don't know why session is not being changing the color, or is doing it like this. I don't know. So the session error, if that session error is being available, so we are just gonna render it out as I've done with the first one. So we're gonna use alert dash danger because this is an error, and we're gonna just tell it to print out the session error. I'm gonna copy paste this. Okay, sorry. Okay. Oh man, what's going on? Okay, we're gonna now cover up the success. For any, there's gonna have success, and we're gonna push the success in there. Now let's test this out by returning a session when we added the category. Now by going to the category controller and store, like we have covered up in the last video tutorial, we're storing just a category in our database. Now after saving it, we're gonna like success, save it successfully. We're just gonna return a session. So to do that, not actually returning it, but setting a session variable. So use the session helper session. I'm gonna call it success, or no, we need to use the flash method. So call the flash method. Now put a success, then put category named, and we're gonna put the name in there. Successfully. Okay. I'm gonna put the category name between those dots, and we're gonna get category. Okay, name and category. Okay, this should be working. And why we're specifically using the flash method in here? Because if we don't use it, the session variable would never be destroyed. Like you're gonna keep seeing this this notification over and over. Whatever you refreshing the page, you're gonna keep seeing notification up there. So using the flash, you're gonna see it only once when it's reload. So in the next reload, on the second reload, this variable gonna be destroyed from the session variables storage. Therefore, now let's test this out. Before this, let's include this in our app. So let's go to the app, main layout app. So we have to include this in order to make it take effect. And before or after this model thing, we're gonna cover it in the next video tutorial. So I've just done some couple of testing in here to make sure like everything is working fine. Anyway, don't take care about this. Don't care about this. So we're gonna include, okay, include, and it's under our include dots, and it's called messages dot. Not gonna include .blade.php, so they called messages. Let me just double check that everything is working fine. Now let's try to refresh and try to add the category and see what we can get in here. So hopefully we will get some error messages. So I don't know, cat something. As you can see, category named cats added successfully, and you can like make this floats in here by changing the style of it, because it's gonna make your CMS looks bit better. I don't know, I will try to make to style this if I have the time, but I don't think it's just looking fine up here. Also, you're gonna get the errors if there will be any errors up here. So I guess this is pretty much it for the sessions. Just as simple as that, you can get the session variables. So we have covered up the category and the sessions and how to display them and how to return them. So this is the guys for this tutorial. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you really enjoyed. We're gonna cover in the next tutorial Ajax call and how to use this remove and edit methods, or this remove and edit buttons to edit the categories available in here. This is pretty much it. See you in the next video tutorial.